All right, guys, welcome back to the Green Zone. This is episode 40. That's right, bringing you a special episode 40 edition of the Green Zone on Halloween. So we're going to get some tricks, we're going to get some treats. Let's find out. First, we're going to go to our head-to-head matchups, guys. I'm just going to give you the straight winners right across the board. Last week we went 9-4. We're going to keep that going. Let's kick it off. All right, Vikings at Packers, guys. This is a divisional game, so it may be closer than you think. Obviously, the Packers are the more well-rounded team. They are the better team in this matchup. Something's happened with the Vikings, or they were never good to begin with. They are floundering, and they are not doing well. Kirk Cousins is not a legit NFL starting quarterback. He's decent. He can get you as far as maybe the first round of the playoffs, but he ain't going to win you many games within the playoffs. He ain't going to give you what you need. He's not got that Super Bowl caliber type talent that you need. Can I get it off the tongue? Packers are going to win this one, no problem. Titans at Bengals. It's a divisional game. Things can happen. Crazier things have happened before, right? I still believe the Packers win this one. Next, Titans at Bengals. Titans win this one. Bengals have one of the worst rush defenses in the league. Look for a huge week from Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's been turning things around. Look, the guy's been having a great season. He never really had to turn things around, so to speak. But he's really stepped into that role that we expected him to have, right? That workhorse, that type of running back that's really going to lead that team. He's more of the number one offensive weapon over Tannehill or anybody else, right? A.J. Brown close second, but he's the engine that makes that team go offensively for sure. That's clicking. Titans are clicking. I understand they lost last week. We did predict that right here on the Green Zone, but the Titans are clicking right now. Mike Vrabel's a good coach. They'll turn it around. They'll right the ship. I think they get a little bit of payback game, if you will, and take it out on the Bengals, trying to show the rest of the world, hey, we're for real. We just had a bad game against the Steelers. Next, Jets at Chiefs, guys. This is obvious. I'm not going to get into it. The Chiefs are 20-point favorites. Yes, mark that down, 20-point favorites. I thought about taking the Jets just for fun, but I don't think they'll even sniff the jockstrap of this game. Give me the Chiefs in a blowout. Next, Steelers at Ravens, guys. It's a divisional game. This kind of reminds you, right, of the NFC North or the AFC North matchups of the old, right, where you got Steelers, Ravens, hard-hitting, smash-mouth football. Ooh, who's it going to be? I'm already getting goosebumps. It's no longer like that, right? There's no such thing as hard-hitting NFL anymore. That's a penalty in 15 yards. You're not going to get that this game, but you will get some awesome rushing offensive plays from the Ravens with timely tight end passes and scrambles from Lamar Jackson. You will also get a Steelers offense that's clicking on all fours. Who's going to be that 3 or 4 touchdown receiver for Big Ben today? He spreads it around like always. I liked initially the Steelers in this one, but I think the Ravens are just a little bit more balanced. I think the Ravens win this one, but watch for a close game. We're going to come back to this when we talk about the bets with the spreads. Make some money on this one. Next, Rams at Dolphins, guys. Rams versus Dolphins is a no-brainer in my opinion. I think the Rams take this one. I think the Dolphins already shine their little bit of Fitz magic, their little bit of we might be something type deal. They're not. They're the Dolphins. They're the same old Dolphins that they've been since 72. I don't know. They're not very good. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's give a little bit of respect to Dan Marino, one of the best quarterbacks to never win the Super Bowl. Love the guy. I'm not talking trash either, and I'm not being snarky at the fact that he never won a Super Bowl. Loved him in Ace Ventura as well. Ace, turn her around. We got the Rams winning this one. I just think that the Rams, they're a better team than most people think. They're from the NFC Best. 19 wins out of that division. That is 2 more than the AFC North as leading the league in the division with the most wins. It's the NFC Best, guys. There's no doubt about it. So the Rams are one of the weaker teams in the NFC West, still better than one of the best teams in the Dolphins division. Next, Pats at Bills, guys. Bills should win this game. The Pats are kind of crumbling. I almost expect the Pats to not toss this season. That's just not the Belichick way. They'll win some games. They'll scrounge some games out. But how not surprising would it be if the Pats actually ended up with a top-round draft pick and they got that youngster kid quarterback that everybody wants right now? It would just be so Belichick. Give Belichick a top first-round draft pick. I'd like to see what he can do. That might be the way that the Pats are heading. Cam Newton's done. I know I said to bet on him last week. I know I said to bet against the Niners last week. But hey, I'm a Niner fan. If I can make the Niners win by betting against them, I'm going to do it every week. So Cam Newton, he looks horrible. I don't think he's got anything left in the tank. They might as well move to the kid. Either way, the Pats are in trouble. Bills, in the meantime, are on the up and up, right? They've made some changes. Josh Allen looks like the let's call it the type B prototype of Pat Mahomes. I like Josh Allen. I like his abilities. I think the Bills win this one. They are the better team. Raiders at Browns, guys. This one I've gone back and forth. I don't like betting on the Raiders. They screw me every time. No Vaseline. We're going to go ahead and go with the Browns. I think they're the better team. I think the Browns have the better defense, they have the better offense, but I think the Raiders, they're surprisingly inconsistent. So there's an ability here that the Raiders have to just surprise the entire world, win a game that nobody thinks they can win, and then flounder the next week right when you put some confidence behind them. I'm going to say that the Browns still win this one. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of upset there. We'll stay away from that one in the betting segment. Next, Chargers at Broncos, guys. Divisional game. Either team can win this one. I think the Chargers found themselves last week as they got that W. Believe it or not, the young kid there, Chester the Molester, as I like to call him, the quarterback over for the Chargers, he got himself #1 fantasy quarterback of the week. That's pretty impressive coming from a rookie quarterback. I like the Chargers beating the Broncos. Again, divisional game, two crappies, battle of the shits, as I like to say on the green zone here. So, who cares? Next. Saints at Bears. Saints win this one, but in a squeaker, guys. The Saints aren't the same old Saints that you've been seeing for years, right? Drew Brees definitely is on the decline, as much as that hurts me to say. The guy's a Hall of Famer. He's a great guy. I've met him myself, but he's on the decline. The Bears are a good defense. I think Nick Foles does enough to keep the team in it, but he's not going to do enough to beat the Saints, in my opinion. I think Alvin Kamara has a big game in this one. 49ers at Seahawks, guys. Hey, here we are again, right? I think the Seahawks win this one. The Niners last week were able to get offensive production from JWJ, that's Jeff Wilson Jr. for all you late birds, and also Deebo Samuel, who is back fully healthy, played great, running over everybody. He's out, he's injured. JWJ is out, he's injured. Not sure who the Niners are going to rely upon. Every time, each week for them seems like 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. It's not looking great. The Seahawks have a terrible defense. I know Shanahan's offense and the Niners can score on this defense. That's a fact. The Seahawks are one of the worst defenses in the league. They give up over 500 yards per game in the air. The Niners will take advantage of that. Shanahan is an offensive guru. This will be a high-scoring game, guys. Vegas has the over at 53. I almost bet on that over, but we're gonna stay off it. Mark my words, this will be a high-scoring game. It's going to be the last team to score here. I just think Russell Wilson and the injuries the Niners have on their defense is a little too much for the 49ers. I don't see anybody. Again, a lot of injuries there in the secondary. I have to give props to the Niners secondary that stepped it up last week. Tavarius Moore, Marcel Harris, you guys did a great job filling in for Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tartt, Juicy Fart. But the bottom line is, it's not going to be enough this week against guys like Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Russell Wilson's ability to not just scramble, but manipulate the pocket, avoid the contact in the backfield, and somehow fling it perfectly over the shoulder right there before everybody else started trending on this subject and saying it. We were saying it here about 4 or 5 years ago on the Green Zone. Russell Wilson throws the best over-the-shoulder ball in the NFL. I would have loved to have played for this guy, as I played receiver for a long time in my football career. Would have loved it. Didn't have a guy like this. Russell, I'm jealous. I wish I played with you. Let's get going on what's important here. I think the Seahawks win this one. The Niners, in a shootout with the Seahawks, I just don't think they have enough offensive weapons. And I just don't think their defense has enough to stop Wilson enough times. Can we say enough? The bottom line is, guys, too many injuries for the 49ers. Seahawks take advantage. It would be amazing, though, if the Niners did somehow win this game with all those injuries, right? I mean, let's just bet against them. All right, next we got the Cowboys at the Eagles. Guys, we've gotten burned a few times betting on the Cowboys. They are one of the worst teams in the NFL right now after the loss of Dak Prescott, which is kind of funny because Dak was getting a lot of flack in Dallas for not being the quarterback that he's being paid to be. However, this guy is definitely the engine of that team. He's definitely the motor that makes him go. Without Dak, you see what this team has become. It's embarrassing, Dallas. I do know that Jerry Jones is an egomaniac, but he will spend whatever money he has to spend to make that team competitive, so it won't be too long before you're up and running again. Dallas, you've got an injury that you can't overcome. You'll get a good draft pick. Jerry will spend the money. You guys will be back. In the meantime, you are going to suck. We are going to go ahead and say that the Eagles win this one, even though the Eagles are terrible. The NFC East is so bad right now, nobody even wants to watch any of these games, so we'll just look at the score when everything's done and see if the Eagles won. Sorry for the rhyme, but it happens all the time. Next, Buccaneers at Giants, guys. Buccaneers win this one because the Giants are in the NFC East, and the Buccaneers are one of the top teams in the NFL right now. Last week's power rankings, or Power rankings came out after last week's performances, and midway through the season, the Buccaneers are number 1. That's right, your Tom Brady-led Buccaneers, without Belichick, I might add, are number 1 in the power rankings. They are going against one of the worst teams in the power rankings, possibly right around 30, are the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants. They are down and out. Daniel Jones might squeak a few runs across, but the Buccaneers' defense has come to play as well, as we talked about at the beginning in episode 1 of the Green Zone here. I thought that young defense had something to prove, had some gelling to do, but he ultimately would come out on top and give Brady enough opportunity to make that team great. These are things that are happening now. Buccaneers are they're a steam engine that I would not want to try to stop right now. Giants are not going to be the team to do it. That is it for our head-to-head matchups, guys. I'm just giving you winners. That's all I do. Let's move on to the betting segment. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Happy Halloween, everybody. We reached below the grave for this one. All right, our first look bets. We're going to go ahead and take the over at 45.5 in the Rams versus Dolphins games. I love taking the over on Dolphins games. For some reason, Vegas thinks that Dolphins can't score. They can swim. They're definitely mammals, and they can score. So we're going to say that they get enough done. I know the Rams are going to score against that Dolphins defense. So I think the Dolphins score enough. Fitzmagic just does enough of the tricks to get into the end zone a few times, and we're going to get over that 45.5 over. We saw the NFL pull back on the reins. Some of the overs didn't cash in. Now we're going to zag. The NFL's starting to zig. We're going to zag. We're going to double down on those overs. The NFL thinks everyone's scared to go on them. We're going hard this week. Hard in the paint. Yes, over at 45.5, Rams, Dolphins. Seahawks -3 versus the Rams. You knew I had to do it, right? Every time I have bet against the Niners this year, the Niners have not only won the game, but they have covered. We're going to keep that going. A little consolation prize for me if I lose this bet and the Niners win. It's a personal thing, guys. Get out of my face. Seahawks -3. I honestly think the Seahawks can cover that. This should be a shootout, but the Seahawks should win this by more than 3 points. Next, Rams -3.5 versus the Dolphins. I like this game. I like both of those, the point total and the spread. I think the Rams are better than the Dolphins by more than 3.5 points. They're a better coach. They're a better team. They're better well-rounded. I know they had a tough week against the 49ers, but they bounced back. They did their thing against the Cowboys. Against the Bears. They're going to do their thing here against Miami. Second take games. Bills -4.5 versus the Pats. It is Buffalo's time. It's now or never, Buffalo. Step up. If you're going to take this division by the horns, if you're going to step on the throat of the Patriots and slice it while they're down, you need to do it this week. Make your statement, Buffalo. If you want to be the division leaders, the new champs of that division, you need to kick the Pats while they are down. They didn't bother with taking any sort of pity on you when you were the crappy team in the division. It is now your turn. I believe the Bills can do this, and I believe the Bills will do this. Next, over at 49.5, Packers versus Vikings. I think this game will be high scoring, guys. The Vikings know how to score. They just don't know how to stop anybody else from scoring. The Packers know how to score, and they have a decent defense, but when they go against high-powered offenses, Jair Alexander can't be everywhere. He's the only legit defender on that team who's a shutdown corner. It seems like they have holes in other spots that can be taken advantage of. The Vikings will do that. They have the playmakers to do that. So I think 49.5, it's higher, but it happens. Third glance, guys. I know I only gave you, 5 first look and second take games. We're now to the third glance games. I'm not as confident in them. As a matter of fact, last week we went 5-5 on our betting segment with a push. Just think, last week the Browns kicker had to miss that extra point for us to go 5-5 with a push rather than us to go 6-5 with a push. We swept our first look bets. We did well on our second take. We kind of lost in the third glance game. So keep that in mind. This is a bag of tricks, Halloween special bonus picks here. I really didn't feel comfortable about anything other than the first look and second take bets. So, trick or treat, beware on these ones. And speaking of all the Halloween cliches that I'm throwing out at you, let's go ahead and change this. No thanks, I don't want that. Terrible time for an advertisement. All right, here we go. Third place, Cowboys plus 11. Look, how many times can I bet on the Cowboys and lose? It's been 2 or 3 times already. Let's try it again. I just don't see the Eagles beating anybody by double digits. That's really all this comes down to. Both teams are terrible. I think the Eagles will win. We already mentioned that. But 11 points? Give me 11 points versus the Eagles. I like it. Next, Raiders plus 2.5 versus the Browns. I have lost every time I bet on the Raiders. Maybe take that and go minus 2.5 for the Browns. But I just think that the Raiders, I went back and forth on this. Who's going to win this game? I said the Browns, but you're going to give me the Raiders plus points? And game I think could be close? Give me the Raiders plus 2.5 doing something weird again. Steelers plus 4 versus the Ravens. Look, this is more conspiracy theorist in me. I just think this game's going to be kept close. It's important. Everybody's going to be tuned in. The referees, the NFL, they'll make sure it stays close and everybody's dialed into the very end. That means this could be possibly a 3-point game. So give me the team plus the 4 points. That would be the Steelers. I still think the Ravens are going to win the game, though. And then finally, I let my wife choose a couple of bets here to end it out. That is right. I wanted to let her shine here. So she tells me the Saints minus 4.5 and the Titans minus 7. She wants to play it safe with the favorites. Those are some kind of big point spreads to cover. But, hey, the lady knows best, right? I mean, I don't make these things up. It's just been proven fact. Saints minus 4.5, that can happen. Titans minus 7, totally. Why not? That's it for the betting segment, guys. We'll go ahead and move on to our daily fantasy. Daily fantasy. That's right. Last week we went, did I say what we did? Yeah. 5 top 10 finishers last week in daily fantasy. We'll just rewind this. I don't know. I like it. It's new. It's got a little jing. It's not new. It's a remix. There was an original. Find it. So, fantasies. Quarterbacks. Russell Wilson versus the San Francisco 49ers. I already said this is going to be a shootout. Vegas thinks this is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a shootout. Russell Wilson's going to be the one to take advantage of most of the points there. In fantasy, take Russell Wilson if you can. We're going to save money later on some other positional players who have plus matchups, so you can spend more on your cap there for Russell Wilson. Next, Ryan Tannehill. If you want a cheaper option who also has a plus matchup, Ryan Tannehill's your guy. He's going against the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals don't play defense. Boom. Next, Carson Wentz versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't play defense either. Carson Wentz is not somebody I want on my fantasy team, but maybe this week he's got a matchup we can take advantage of. If you save the money there, you can get some of the big name guys later on this list. Running backs, John Taylor versus Detroit. John Taylor had a bye last week. He's got rested legs. I think the Colts are better than the Lions. Lions don't particularly play good defense. Rushing defense isn't that great either. I think John Taylor is one of the legit better running backs in the league. If you haven't watched him play, it's a joy. The guy's got a mix of speed and power and dedication and a burst that I haven't seen in a little bit. Give me John Taylor versus Detroit and rested legs coming off of a bye. Boston Scott versus Dallas. If somebody's going to take advantage of Dallas, it's going to be Boston Scott. Boston Scott is the running back for the Jets. Or I'm sorry, the running back for the Eagles. We're not going to have any Jets players on here. Trust me, that's a guarantee. Boston Scott versus the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys are giving up an absurd amount of yards per game on the ground. I wrote it down here somewhere, but it doesn't really matter. It's ridiculous. They're the number 1 leading team in giving up yards per game on the ground. Boston Scott, if anyone's going to take advantage of it in Philly, it's going to be him. Derrick Henry versus Cincinnati. Again, the Bengals don't play defense. Who is the number 1 offensive weapon on the Titans? Derrick Henry is that guy. Give me Derrick Henry on my squad. And then a little bonus. I like to give you 3 positional players for each position. I'm going to give you 4 here. JaMycal Hasty. He is the Niners' 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. It doesn't matter. String quarter or running back coming out and filling in. The thing about a Shanahan offense is that I am so Italian right now. I'm speaking with my hands all over the place. But yeah, JaMycal Hasty, he is the 3rd string running back for the 49ers. He's after Raheem Mostert. He's after JWJ. And now he looks like he's in front of McKinnon. It does look like the Niners have figured out that McKinnon has lost that burst. It's really sad to see. I was pulling for the guy. He had some brutal injuries. He really tried hard to get back into it. The guy just has no burst, has no legs. Can't play in the NFL. JaMycal Hasty is young. You know, he looks great. If you guys haven't seen him, he does have some elusivity to him. He's got some cut abilities, and he's got that burst that you are looking for. Shanahan devises offenses to let any running back who can run straight, fast, excel. This guy can do it. He also has great lateral movement. Seems like he's got some good vision as well. Shanahan is going to scheme up some amazing holes for him. And let's give credit to that Niners offensive line who's gelling with a couple of new additions over the course of this year. I think they're really gelling and coming in their own. They're really understanding Shanahan's run style. Look for some big runs from Hasty this week. You can get him for real treat. Halloween. You can get him for real treat. Oh my goodness. You can get him for real cheap right now. Holy Moses. That's enough about running backs. Wide receivers, Tyler Lockett. That guy will not be stopped by any cornerback for the 49ers. Moving on. Brandon Aiyuk. That's another Niner player I realize, but the Seattle defense is absolutely terrible. So, Aiyuk, he is now the Niners' #1 offensive wide receiver. I know you've never heard of him. I know he's a rookie at Arizona that you've never heard of. And the Niners skipped on some other top wide receivers that they could have had, but Aiyuk is actually a good playmaker. They are calling themselves, they've coined themselves the Yak brothers there, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Aiyuk. The fact that Kittle and Deebo wanted to add this guy to the Yak brothers name and tagline, that's impressive. This guy's a rookie. He's already hurdling guys. He knows how to move with the ball in his hands once he's got it. Shanahan knows how to scheme him open. Jimmy G will get him the ball. Aiyuk will get some plays as the Seahawks could not stop a runny nose. Do not take 2 players from the Niners, guys. Choose one. All right? If I give you a quarterback-wide receiver tandem, that's fine. That's going to get you bonus points. Do not take 2 skill players from the same team, all right? I'm tired of giving this lecture every single week. Damn! Next, Tyreek Hill, guys. He hasn't been on our list yet, but he is one of the top 10, if not top 5 wide receivers in the league. Pat Mahomes is going to be thrown to him all day against the Jets here. He's liable to get 1, possibly 2 touchdowns. That's just a sure lock. Bigger name you could get if you save some money on these other moves I am giving you. Tight ends, Travis Kelce. If you don't go Tyreek Hill, go Travis Kelce. He's a for sure thing. Next, Mark Andrews. Like I said, the Ravens, when they go against the Steelers, they like to go for their for sure things. That means their run game and Mark Andrews in the red zone. Touchdown or 2 for him. And finally, George Kittle. If you are going to go with an offensive weapon from the Niners that you want to be a for sure lock and you've made the other moves to give yourself the cap room at this position here at tight end, then go ahead and grab yourself George Kittle. He will go off on the Seahawks. He will have himself a day. Give yourself George Kittle. That is it, guys. Quick lesson for you that I've been meaning to teach the last couple of weeks. It seems like young youth football players have not been taught the appropriate way to play defensive back. The art has almost all but disappeared in the NFL. It's driving me nuts. I understand that it is harder to play defense and in particular defensive back in today's NFL passing league. I get it. They don't allow you to do bump and run without calling it holding. They don't allow you to touch the receiver without calling it pass interference. They don't allow you to face guard without calling that pass interference. You've got so many things that basically you have to run down, staying on this guy's hip. He knows the route. You don't. Stay on this guy's hip and then turn around, make a play on the ball all in one motion without losing your guy at the same time, without touching him. I get it, it's difficult, but young NFL aspiring talent, please let me teach you something here today. You have to have ball skills. I understand that if you can't catch the ball, you play defense. That's the old cliche. But you have to have some sort of ball skills in order to be an elite defensive back in today's NFL or next level college football, if you will. You have to be able to have enough of those ball skills to know where and locate the ball, know where it is and locate the ball in the air. For example, if you are running side to side with the receiver and you are heading downfield and neither one of you are facing the quarterback, you have to know to read his eyes. When his eyes light up the size of pancakes or silver dollars or his hands start to raise, you have to be able to swivel your hips, turn your head, all in one motion, locate the ball, and either intercept or bat that ball down. You cannot play blindly. You cannot just wait, try to read or hope to get a hand up while the wide receiver continuously teabags you over and over and over in the face, nuts in the face, hands on the ball, comes down, and you don't know where anything is. That's not how you can't play defensive back like that. The amount of DBs that are trying to do this, it's not going to work, guys. Keep your hands off and play deep and mirror the wide receiver. I know it's hard. It's frustrating to watch as a fan who appreciates football and wants to watch football the way it's supposed to be played. That means both defensively and offensively. Screw all these middling fans who just want to see touchdowns. Real fans want to see real football. I get it. It's frustrating. But please, this is the way it's going. So, young kids out there, I've got one myself. Teach yourselves how to find and locate a ball in the air. Read a receiver, his hands, his eyes. find that ball and bat it down. Treat that ball like it is your baby. It's your baby. It's floating through the air. Goodness, grab it, catch it, bring it to you. Do not wait for that ball to come down and float up a hand wavingly, crazily, and just hope that you're going to get something, because you will find yourself teabagged and your baby stolen. That's it, guys. I hope you had a good time here on our Halloween special. From me and Jack the Pumpkin King, I want to say this is Halloween, and thank you for listening, you beautiful, beautiful listeners. Actually, I take that kiss back. I'm a married man. None of you can have that trick, not a treat. I take that back. Happy Halloween.